From a purely football perspective, would it be in the Browns' best interest to bench Deshaun Watson and try either Jameis or DTR? Or is Deshaun still the right guy to lead this offense moving forward?
I'm going to preface this statement by saying I'm going to be very direct. I would play Jameis Winston. Because what I'm seeing on the football field, strictly on the football field, is high school. On the goal line, you got the ball on the 2-yard line, false start. You get the ball again, 12 men in a huddle. Then you get the ball again, timeout. You get the ball, we're going to go for it, but not really because we can't get the call in, so now we got to call. It's just, it's comical. It's at this point. I'm watching Deshaun Watson, and at this time and point in time, the offensive line is so bad that he's having what we were talking about, seeing ghost. There is no pocket presence in what he's trying to do. He's just running around like with his head cut off. It isn't anything concise. It isn't anything that is. It looks like it has been rehearsed, scheduled. It just looks bad. When you watch other quarterbacks, it's 1, 2, 3, ball out. 1, 2, 3, ball out. Quarterback, if you're gonna run a scramble, you take the scramble, get out of bounds. It's just so bad right now. So yeah, I would try Jameis Winston because I need a spark somewhere, and I'm not ready as a organization to punt on the season. I will tell you why later on. It won't happen. Deshaun Watson's still going to be the quarterback. We'll get to that. But one thing that I want to talk about too is it's malpractice to focus in on Deshaun Watson and not talk about the horrible job Kevin Stefanski has done this year. It is a bottom 5 job by Kevin Stefanski. This guy.
What is different to you from last year when he was coach of the year and the offense had the best passing game that we've had since '99?
Well, here's what the difference is. He didn't hold anybody accountable up front. What did you do up front to bolster your offensive line? Your offensive line came in out of shape. You knew they were out of shape, and then you didn't run nobody in camp. Second thing, too, you brought in another head coach or you brought in another coach to run the offense and say you want another offensive coordinator. My thing is, if you are bad enough to need a new coordinator, why aren't you turning the plays over? See, this little game that we playing is, well, is it Kevin's fault or is it not Kevin's fault? Is the play calling this? Is it Dorsey? Let the man call his own plays. You still holding on to the play sheet. Alex Van Pelt got fired while you were calling the plays. I want to see what Jameis Winston can do, and the reason I want to watch what Jameis Winston does because I need to figure out whether or not I got the right coach involved too. Now, here's the thing: if he puts Jameis Winston in the game and Jameis Winston looks great, and the offense moves better like it did with Flacco, then guess what? We know what it was. Oh, well, Deshaun wasn't it. But if he puts Jameis Winston in the game and it looks the exact same, it looks like it's a cluster, you know what? Then I got to start questioning who's calling the plays and do we got the right people at the top?
Let me ask you this, because I thought about that exactly the way you explained it, and I talked myself out of it because we're talking about last year. Last year, Deshaun Watson looked very, very similar to he's worse this year, but he was not great last year. And the control in this experiment that we're talking about is quarterback or head coach, is we went through this last year, and I want to talk myself into, I want to see what Dorsey's offense looks like. I want to talk myself into that. Well,
no, you don't.
Here's why.
You saw it in Buffalo.
Well, listen,
it wasn't awful in Buffalo.
Yeah,
I saw a quarterback that made a lot of bad decisions in Dorsey's offense.
They got infinitely better as soon as Ken Dorsey was.
Well, I don't know.
I'm not gonna keep giving Kevin Stefanski.
They didn't look great yesterday.
Nobody's giving Stefanski a pass.
No, he doesn't deserve a pass.
What I'm saying though is we gotta examine it. The offense looked kind of like this in 2021. Go look at 2020 numbers. 2021.
Yeah.
Baker wasn't throwing for 300 yards. He was at the same place, 174, 186, 205. Same offense. Now, if you're going to fire Alex Van Pelt, you said that all those other guys were the reason.
See, that's what I don't understand, because you're right. And
you can't have it both ways.
What I don't get, and Jason, please give me insight into what happened. Problem is, the curtain is made of steel, and nobody finds out. But that's what I want to know. I don't care. I will never for a second believe that Kevin Stefanski went to Andrew Berry and said, I want to fire Alex Van Pelt.
Yeah.
I will never believe that. I believe that decision came from on high. And my theory is this. If I'm wrong, tell me, because this is just my theory because we don't hear anything from behind this steel curtain. My theory is in talks between Deshaun and Andrew Berry, or Deshaun and Jimmy Haslam, or Deshaun and Paul DePodesta, it was stated at some point, because of his struggles, this isn't the offense I feel comfortable running. This isn't who I am. I'm a spread quarterback out of the shotgun. Do not put me under center. Do not give me 12 personnel. I don't like that. And I think that the owner, in hearing all of this input and looking and seeing what it looked like, by the way, with a under center play action quarterback in Joe FLACCO, I think the owner said, well, I'm giving him 230. I'm trying to eliminate any excuses for failure. Let's do this. Kevin, fire AVP. We got to bring somebody in that's going to run a spread shotgun that Deshaun's comfortable with. Are you buying that theory so far?
Absolutely.
Okay. So at that point, Stefanski, being the good soldier that he is, lets Alex Van Pelt go, even though Alex Van Pelt wasn't even calling plays and they made the playoffs. Most bizarre firing in the history of firings.
Yep.
Didn't understand it then, don't understand it now. So I think what we're looking at is everything has been changed to fit what Deshaun wants. But the problem is you've got the wrong horse. You've got the wrong guy. If you're going to give the keys to the castle, it better be a Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And we hadn't seen that old Deshaun. And I think he was explaining away his failures because he was running an offense he didn't like. Okay, let's fix it. Let's wave the wand and change it. The problem with pivoting the Titanic after it hit the iceberg is the damage is done. And so at this point, I'm looking at it saying, you don't just wave a magic wand and say, that'd be like saying on defense, we're going to go from a 3-4 to a 4-3. We don't have that personnel. You build up to that. And the problem is they pivoted on the dime, and now they've got offensive linemen that are trying to run a spread offense. They weren't built or brought here to do that.
And they're flat out not good.
So Jay,
Well, they're not good at what they're asked to do now.
I don't think they're good.
They were
period.
good last year at what they were asked to do.
real quick, so Jay, just to clarify, because we're going to get to the ownership decisions in a sec. I want to make that a separate split.
Okay.
You would bench Deshaun for his football play.
100%.
Correct. G,
And
you said
again,
you would go to Winston.
I'm not assuming that Jameis is going to come in and be great, but I think it's Jason. Is it Jason or Devin McCourty that's on the NBC pregame show?
Jason said it.
Jason had a great point yesterday. He said Bill Belichick, and it didn't matter who was the quarterback. Bill Belichick always used to say, if things aren't going well, and you know with your eyes, are they going well or not? If things aren't going well, something has to change.
Yep.
What are you going to change?
Jay, Jason, do you make it 3 for 3 on from a football perspective? It's time to bench Deshaun.
100%. It's not even a debate. It's not even a decision. So give me a minute here because you guys covered a lot. So let me try and add to and unpack some of this. I know I'm like seen as the big Stefanski supporter. Kevin's had a terrible year. Everybody in the organization's had a terrible year. There is no defending what's happened this year. I do have one question, though. If you fire Deshaun Watson, the salary cap goes away, money doesn't matter, you cut him today.
Yeah.
Anybody picking him up tomorrow?
Nobody.
Not one team.
I was
would.
having that conversation in text with friends yesterday. Nobody
hang
would
on.
pick him up.
If you fire Kevin Stefanski today,
Yes.
when does his phone ring?
Immediately.
In 15 minutes.
From multiple clubs.
And that's why I'm telling you, Kevin is not the problem. The NFL would laugh at the Browns if they fired him.
Like they're
Well,
laughing at us
well,
right now
well,
for making the
well,
Deshaun Watson
well,
trade.
let's be clear. Coaches get fired all the time and get new jobs.
Quarterbacks get released and get new jobs.
I mean, look, you got to think about it.
Look at Baker. We thought Baker was done after Carolina.
Kevin Stefanski can go be a coordinator, as a tight ends coach.
he'll be a head coach.
He'll be a head coach.
I think he'll be a head coach.
He'll be a head coach tomorrow.
I heard Sean King say you guys are. I don't agree with you. You fire Stefanski. I don't think he's getting no job tomorrow. That's what he said.
Well, tomorrow's we're being obviously realistically when a job comes open. For instance, there would probably be a move made.
Teams will fire their coach to hire him.
Jacksonville's already contemplating making a change. If Stefanski came available, it's a wrap.
So guess what? They got Mike Vrabel. Is Stefanski a better coach than Mike Vrabel on this roster today?
We don't know. We'd have to see Mike Vrabel with this roster.
If he was that great, you would have a definite yes on for Stefanski. It would be no question.
Well,
You'd be like, yeah.
Vrabel's also had success in this league.
Okay. Well, we acting like there's no other great coaches that are doing things. You got people in this roster that I would say is better than what Kevin Stefanski brings to the table.
Kevin is calling an offense that is not his.
That's right.
Why would he do that?
Because he's forced to.
It was forced into
Deshaun
him.
said, I'm not comfortable in this offense.
I think you were 1,000,000% right. Listen, I've said this before on the show. Joe FLACCO, I know we're going to get to FLACCO. Joe FLACCO embarrassed Deshaun last year.
Okay.
I wholeheartedly believe that. The city fell hard for Joe. It was all about FLACCO. Everybody loves FLACCO. They don't like that guy. It was an embarrassment to him to watch the way that FLACCO performed in the offense.
That's why Flacco's in Indy right
and the
now.
way the city and the locker room too. The locker room's a big, but we'll get to the FLACCO in a minute.
I'm asking, why would you call, if this is a forced marriage, why is that Kevin Stefanski calling plays for another person that came in as the offensive coordinator? Why is that?
He didn't want to give up that duty. He called him with Alex Van Pelt.
Okay, so if you don't want to give up that duty, you have to be held accountable for what your actions are.
And I think he is.
And we're saying he's having a terrible year.
He came to the podium yesterday and said, point the finger at me.
Well, he says that every week. But he's having a terrible year. Like
He is having a terrible year.
I'm not defending Kevin this year. He's having a terrible year.
The thing of it is, Jay, though, and I'm glad you made that point, because that's the slack I'm giving Stefanski. Stefanski is building a house with materials he doesn't want. And he's forced to do it because that's the way things go here. So if I'm a coach, I've always said this. If I'm a coach, I'm winning and losing, getting hired and fired based on what I want to do, not what J-Dub wants to do,
let me ask you
or
guys,
Paul D. Podesta.
I talked to Mikey McNuggets the other day, and I asked him this question. If he is being forced to do all said things that we are saying, he can't pick the coordinator, he got to fire Van Pelt, he doesn't get a choice whether Baker's going to stay or Deshaun Watson comes out of the game, well, why would you sign up for an extension?
It's a great question.
With an organization that has handcuffed you and don't give you permission. Why would you do that?
And I was advocating last offseason he should walk.
I said that.
And I did too.
He should quit. But just quit. You'll have a job tomorrow.
Without question. It boggles my mind. And that is the right question, G. You're asking the absolute right question. I'm looking at Kevin, and here's my answer to that. That's who he is. He's not an alpha male. He's not. And that's not a knock on him. I'm just saying an alpha male is going to walk into the room and say, look, boys, this is the way we're going to run it, or you're going to find someone else to run it.
Do you need somebody like that? Because right now, it seems like the Browns are not playing with the alpha male at the top of the food chain.
Well, and that's what you get. The team takes on the personality of the coach.
I don't want to speak for Bull, and at first I kind of dismissed what he said. I think Adam is 1,000,000% right when he said, bench Deshaun to make him fire you. You're the head coach of the team, coach the team.
And you know what?
Wholeheartedly, because
Jimmy
you know
won't
what?
fire him.
But you know what? That's exactly what Ty Lue did with the Cavs in 2018, because there was a mandate, play the kids. And Ty said, I'm playing who I want to play. I'm playing my vets. And he was fired after like 6 games because he was going to do it his way. Kevin at some point has to put his foot in the ground and say, I'm the coach of this team.
And for me,
I am going to coach this team.
And for me, this is the time. This is the issue, because I know you love EPA. CBS Sports just put out an article this morning, just not long ago. Sean's last 2 weeks, EPA is negative, and it's 2 of the worst 5 individual week EPAs since they've been keeping this stat going back to 2000. So we're not talking number 32 quarterback in the NFL. We're now talking bottom 5 out of all the quarterbacks that have played this game in the last 22 years.
Yeah.
And you said something earlier that is 100% right, and I want to drill down on that before we move. I had another former quarterback text me, Deshaun is seeing things that aren't there. Ghosts. Mm-hmm. We've seen quarterbacks go through this before. Was it Sam Darnold who early in his career said, I'm seeing ghosts? Yeah. And at the time I go, his career's over.
It was on Monday Night Football.
That's it.
When he was with the Jets against the Patriots, a Bill Belichick defense.
And I thought, that's it. He's seeing ghosts. His career's over. Now, for him, somehow, I don't know how he's done it. 5 years later, he's exercised those ghosts.
Sat 6 years.
Maybe. You might be right.
Yeah.
But you said it. I've had a former NFL quarterback tell me the exact same thing. He doesn't trust the pocket, and there's reason not to trust it, by the way.
He don't trust his receivers.
And so he's not thinking clearly because his first thought is survival, and he's not seeing guys that are open. He's seeing things that aren't there. He's seeing coverages that he can beat, but he's not trusting it, and he's taking too many hits and sacks.
To that point, and then Mike, go. Zach Jackson sent me this morning. I just lost it. Give me 1 second. Deshaun Watson has been sacked on 24% of his dropbacks against the blitz. Highest rate in the league. The league average, 9.5%.
Okay. So that he's holding the ball way too long. He's
24%.
not trusting what he's seeing. He's probably interception phobic, which all quarterbacks are.
He left a clean pocket 2 to 3 times that I counted just watching it live
And
yesterday.
ran into a sack.
And
on
yeah,
one of them.
I went to the game just in case this happened. So I flew into Washington yesterday morning, went to the game, and came home last night. At least 2 or 3 plays, no reason to move, perfectly clean pocket. Now they've had a lot of protection issues, for sure.
No question.
But when he has the protection, he doesn't trust it, and he's fleeing.
Yeah. Greg Olson hinted that during the telecast. He talked about nonstop. He talked about this is just the wrong system. The play-by-play guy, Jason
Benetti.
I'm not familiar with him that well, but he kept asking him, so what do you do to generate offense? And Greg Olson kept answering the question the same way. Well, you get under center and you go to the most effective play in football when it comes to throwing the ball. You got to play action. But Deshaun doesn't like doing that, so they're in the shotgun, and he just kept driving that nail. And he's
it's a staple of Kevin, what Kevin does.
He loves it. Look what the success he's had with it.
I talked 2 things. We're going to move on to whose decision really is it. Can Stefanski bench Deshaun Watson? We'll do that in 1 sec. But I talked to Sean King yesterday. He's going to do a breakdown for us again this week. There was one play in the red zone. They ran a mesh concept. Judy was open, got open. Mm-hmm. There was a good pocket, and Deshaun's looking for Bobby Wagner. His eyes are visibly on Bobby Wagner instead of downfield, and he runs into a sack on that play.
Yep.
He's got to go for the end zone. He's just not trusting anything. We asked the chat. We have over 750 votes. Is it time for the Browns to bench Deshaun? 81% say yes, it is. Time to bench Deshaun. Over 750 votes.